All right, I am really excited right now because I'm about to do something that I've always wanted to do, and that is set up a home theater system here at my parents' house. This is a house that I grew up in, and they've got a TV above the fireplace, but they've got this giant open wall right next to it that would just be perfect for a projector and screen. And that's what we're gonna be setting up in today's video and doing the dream project that I have always wanted to do as a kid. So with that said, let's take a look at the hardware that I'm gonna be setting up for this project. So the star of the show is going to be this projector right here. This is the LTV 3000 Pro from AWOL. And I also want to thank AWOL for partnering with me on this video, making this dream come true. In addition to the projector, AWOL also sent out a 100-inch ALR daylight screen. Now you can project this thing directly onto the wall, but if you really want to get the most out of a high-end projector like this, then an ALR screen is the way you're going to want to go. ALR stands for ambient light reduction. And what this is going to do is that with the projector being right under the screen, it's going to do a great job at light that is shot up at the screen, but it's going to reject any kind of ambient light. So from the sides, from the top, it's going to reflect that light out. So it's not going to affect the screen as much as if you were to just project this up on a wall or just kind of a standard screen. So if you are in a brighter room, something with a lot of windows or lights, this is definitely going to be the screen that you're going to want to go with. If you are in a super dark room, maybe a basement, something with no windows, you're probably fine getting away with just a regular projector screen. Now, speaking of this specific screen, it is huge. It came in a giant box that we had to set up. Now, the actual setup itself wasn't very hard. However, the instructions weren't as clear as I would like them to be. There were a couple steps in there that were kind of confusing on what exactly they wanted me to do. But once I got through that, the actual setup of the screen was a breeze. Now, this did take a few hours, so I would set a few hours aside to get this thing all set up. Essentially, what you're doing is you're just putting a metal frame together, connecting the screen to that frame, and then you got to get it mounted up on the wall. So don't be too intimidated to set up a screen like this. It was actually pretty easy to do. Once you get the screen up on the wall, you need to now position the projector to perfectly fit on that screen. You're gonna have to play around with it a little bit to get the exact measurements, but for me, this didn't take all that long. You're gonna do the best that you can to line it up on whatever tabletop that you are using, but then you can go ahead and go into manual focus and actually set up and refine the corners so you're going to get the exact angles that you need. This will have an 8-point adjustment, so you can adjust the corners, sides, top, and bottom. Now, if you do need a little bit of help with the adjusting, there are feet on the bottom of this projector where you can raise and lower each side to really help level this thing out and hone in those adjustments that you might need. Now, going back to the projector, inside of the box, we're going to be getting a Fire TV stick. This is the 4K Max version, which as of right now is the top of the line version of Fire Sticks. This projector does not have a smart operating system built into it, which I actually prefer because then I could just swap out whatever streaming stick I want to use and update it as time goes on. We're also going to get a remote control with batteries. And now let's take a look at the actual projector itself. The first port here looks like it's going to be used for optic audio. We have a micro USB port for service. We've got a USB 1 port, an Ethernet LAN port, AV in. We also have an HDMI 2 with eARC, which is really nice, and an HDMI 3 port. Now to find that HDMI 1 port, it's going to be under the panel in the back. Here's where we're going to be putting our Fire TV stick. And it also comes with the power cable needed to keep it all nice and neat in this back panel here. I really love that they have a separate compartment for the Fire TV stick, so it's not going to be sticking out the back of the unit. Now, let's talk about some of the specs with this projector. This projector has triple laser technology built into it, meaning that it can produce over 1 billion colors. This has 107% of the Rec 2020 color gamut. The projector also has active 3D, which we'll be talking about shortly. We've got Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, 4K Ultra HD, 3000 peak lumens, a 2500:1 enhanced contrast ratio, HDR10, and a turbo gaming mode with 8 milliseconds of response time. The projector also has a Ricoh f2.0 glass lens, which is 3.5 inches big. This is 2.2 times bigger than other brands out there, which if you're going to put this projector on a 150-inch screen, is really going to make a big difference. All right, so we've had the projector set up installed for about 2 months now. Now, I did have a big concern because on the opposite side of the screen were the big sliding door windows, in addition to all the other windows in the house. So I thought it was really going to drown out that projector screen during the daytime. Now, granted, we can close the blinds, we can close the shutters on there, but then it just kind of makes it really dark for just watching normal TV throughout the day. But with that daylight screen that we had set up, having all those windows behind it didn't really affect the screen as much as I thought it would. Having the blinds open, having the drapes open, really trying to drown this thing out, you could still easily watch TV on it. Now, obviously, if you're going to put on a movie or really sit down and enjoy it, I'm going to close everything up and make it as dark as I can in there, but I was happy to see that we could still use this as a normal TV during the daytime. Now, another cool thing with the screen too is that no matter the angle that you sat at, you still got a good view of the screen. I can walk all the way over to the side and I'm still able to see what's going on the screen without any issues. Now, nighttime is where a setup like this is really going to shine. Dark outside, dark in the room, watching a movie, that's kind of this setup's bread and butter. But if you do want to have lights on, for example, our room has can lighting above it, and the way that the projector screen is designed is that it's not going to catch any of that ambient light that's shooting down from the ceiling. So even with the lights on, we're still getting a great image coming from the projector because the grooves in the screen are going to catch the light coming from the bottom and then reflect it away for any light that's coming down from the top, which made it really awesome. The image contrast, saturation, and color were fantastic. I felt like I was watching a movie in a movie theater. Now, as far as the audio goes, the audio to me is perfectly fine. In fact, I'd say it's pretty on par with most TVs that I've reviewed out there. Because this does have an HDMI eARC port on it, you can add an additional soundbar, which was just going to help with the quality of it, but I didn't think it was really necessary. Now, I did mention earlier in the video that you can watch 3D movies on this projector. Now, the box they sent out to me did come with 2 3D glasses inside. That is not normal, but those 3D glasses can be an add-on purchase. For those, you can actually charge them up. There is a little cable that can plug right in the middle to get those guys charged up, and then you're just going to put them on to watch whatever 3D content that you are going to use. I really was impressed with the glasses because they weren't heavy at all. It just felt like normal glasses that you would wear, which is nice when you're watching a 2-hour movie, especially a 3D movie, that you're not getting a headache when you have your glasses on watching that movie. AWOL did send out a couple of 3D demos for us to test out, and it was really cool to be able to see those things pop off the screen. The kids loved it because that was their first experience ever with anything that was 3D, and my parents thought it was pretty awesome also. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot of 3D content out there, but if that's something that you're into, this is capable of doing that. Okay, so I finally got that home theater setup that I have always wanted. I was expecting that we were going to be watching movies on the projector, but when it came to regular TV, my parents would switch back over to their, I believe it's 55-inch TV that they have, but I was surprised to find out that that wasn't the case. They now watch everything on the projector. TV, news, movies, whatever it is, they want it on the projector now. The thing is absolutely amazing, and I mean, I don't blame them. If I had a 100-inch TV sitting there on the wall with a nice setup, I probably want to watch it all the time too. If you guys want to know more about AWOL and their projector lineup, check out the links in the description. If this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.